How to Love and Be Loved by Paramhansa Yogananda. Chapter 3: How to Be a Friend. Service is the keynote of friendship. Cultivate true friendliness, for only thus do you attract true friends to yourself. True friendship consists in being mutually useful, in offering your friends good cheer in distress, sympathy in sorrow, advice in trouble, and material help in times of real need. Friendship consists in rejoicing in the good fortune of your friends and sympathizing with them in adversity. Friendship gladly forgoes selfish pleasures or self-interest for the sake of a friend's happiness, without consciousness of loss or sacrifice, and without counting the cost. Never be sarcastic to a friend. Do not flatter her unless it is to encourage her. Do not agree with her when she is wrong. Real friendship cannot witness with indifference the false, harmful pleasure of a friend. This does not mean that you must quarrel. Suggest mentally, or if your advice is asked, give it gently and lovingly. Fools fight. Friends discuss their differences. There are people who do not trust anyone and who utterly doubt the possibility of ever having true friends. Some, in fact, actually boast that they get along without friends. If you fail to be friendly, you disregard the divine law of self-expansion, by which alone your soul can grow into the Spirit. No man who fails to inspire confidence in other hearts, who is unable to extend the kingdom of his love and friendliness into other soul territories, can hope to spread his consciousness over cosmic consciousness. If you cannot conquer human hearts, you cannot conquer the cosmic heart. The importance of environment. Environment and the company you keep are of paramount importance. Your outer environment, in conjunction with your inner environment, through your habits, controls your life and molds your tastes and habits. Environmental troubles are born because of your conscious or unconscious actions in the past. You must blame yourself for that, but do not develop an inferiority complex about it. Trials do not come to destroy you, but that you may appreciate God better. God does not send those trials. They are born of your own making. All you have to do is to resurrect your consciousness from the environment of ignorance. Remember that the inner mental environment of an individual is what God judges. One may be a sinner at heart while living in the company of saints, or he may be a saint in the company of transgressors. Sinners or saints are largely made through the company they keep. If a sinner is willing to mend his ways and lives in the company of saints, he is bound to change, while a careless spiritual man will deteriorate in the company of wicked people. Through reaction to our outer environment, from early childhood on, our inner mental environment is formed. This inner mental environment of thought and mental habits almost automatically guides our actions. Secret to a happy environment. If you want to be loved, start loving others who need your love. If you want others to sympathize with you, start showing sympathy to those around you. If you want to be respected, you must learn to be respectful to everyone, both young and old. Remember, whatever you want others to be toward you, first be that yourself. Then you will find others responding in like manner to you. It is easy to wish that others would behave perfectly toward you, and it is easy to see their faults. But it is very difficult to conduct yourself properly and to consider your own faults. If you can remember to behave rightly, others will try to follow your example. If you can find your own faults without developing an inferiority complex and can keep busy correcting yourself, you will be using your time more profitably than if you spent it in just wishing others to be better. Your good example will do more to change others than your wishing, your holy wrath, or your words. The more you improve yourself, the more you will elevate others around you. The happier you become, the happier will be the people around you. Selfishness, good and evil. Let your supreme goal be to make others happy in order to gain happiness for yourself. Never pride yourself in the thought that you are acting unselfishly. Always think that you are doing things for your own pleasure, that you find your own highest pleasure in making others happy. You cannot teach the principles of unselfishness to others unless you first practice selfish generosity in your own life. Whatever you do attracts those conditions to yourself. If you set an example of selfishness, people will behave selfishly toward you. Self-preservation is an instinct, but God gave you memory, intelligence, and imagination to understand the difficulties of others. Find happiness in helping whomever crosses your path. Avoid evil selfishness, which is the root of all troubles, whether individual or national. First came bows and arrows to protect one selfishness against another selfishness. Then guns were invented, then machine guns, and now poisonous gases to protect the selfishness of one group of people against the selfishness of another group. There will be more suffering before mankind realizes that national selfishness is just as evil as personal selfishness. Your greatest security lies in the good will of others. If you are enthroned in the hearts of everyone, that is the greatest kingship. If there are 100 people in a town and each person is trying to take from the other, each one has 99 enemies. But if each one is trying to help the other, then each will have 99 friends. Jesus gave up his body for all, and yet he is enjoying eternal life. In being wholly self-giving, he was looking after his spiritual welfare. World family. You must remember that you are a part of the world family and cannot exist without it. You must think of others when thinking of your own needs. It is wrong to think only of yourself, excluding all others. A nation is built of small communities, and they are built of individuals. Even if you have an enemy, you must remember that he is your neighbor. Everyone is our own, for God is our Father and we are his children. If you think only of the welfare of your hands and feet and fail to look after your head, your brain will not serve you well. You must supply the needs of the entire body. So it is that the brains, or leaders of nations, must work harmoniously with the hands and feet, or laborers, of nations. If they are divided, there will be disorder and suffering. We really do not own anything. We shall have to part with everything sometime, either by accident, theft, deterioration, or death. We are only given the use of things for a while. When something is given to you, you must know that it is only yours for a little while. You must not become attached to it. In time, your loved ones will be taken away from you. They were just given to you that you might learn to sacrifice for others and share with others. The true self is the manifestation of spirit within. Anything that you do for the self could be called selfish. Good selfishness consists of those actions by which the pure image of the self within can be realized. Evil selfishness is that which you do for the ego, thus going against the true interest of the self. Love God with all your heart, and love your neighbors as yourself. You will need no other commandments if you follow these two. How to convert enemies into friends. Practice loving those who do not love you. Feel for those who do not feel for you. Be generous to those who are generous only to themselves. If you heap hatred on your enemy, neither he nor you are able to perceive the inherent beauty of your soul. You need not fawn on your enemy. Silently love her. Silently be of service to her whenever she is in need. For love is real only when it is useful and expresses itself through action. Thus will you rend the veils of hate and of narrow-mindedness that hide God from your sight. If humility and apologies on your part bring out your enemy's good qualities, by all means apologize. The person who can do this will have attained a definite spiritual development, for it takes character to be able to apologize graciously and sincerely. It is the consciousness of his own inferiority that makes a man hide behind a display of pride. Do not, however, encourage a wrongdoer by being inappropriately humble and apologetic. Take his actual realities into account. Be practical in your idealism. Finding friends of past incarnations. There are people with whom you come in contact daily, yet with whom you do not feel in sympathy. Learn to love them and adapt yourself to them. There are others who give you the instantaneous feeling that you have known them always. This indicates that they are your friends of previous incarnations. Do not neglect them. Strengthen the friendship existing between you. Be on the lookout for them always, as your restless mind may fail to recognize them. Often they are very near to you, drawn by the friendship born in the distant past. They constitute your shiny collection of soul jewels. Add to it constantly. In these bright soul galaxies you will behold the one great friend smiling at you radiantly and clearly. It is God who comes to you in the guise of a noble true friend to serve, inspire, and guide you. Ugliness of disposition and selfishness drive away all friends of former incarnations, whereas friendliness draws them toward you. Therefore be ready always to meet them halfway. Never mind if one or two friends prove false and deceive you. Each individual has her own standard of physical and mental beauty. What seems ugly to one may appear beautiful to another. Looking at a vast crowd, you like some faces immediately, others do not attract you particularly. The instant attraction of your mind to the likable inner and outer features of an individual is your first indication that you have found a friend of the past. Your dear ones, whom you loved before, will be drawn toward you by a prenatal sense of friendship. Do not be deceived by physical beauty. Ask yourself whether or not the face, the manner of walking, in short, everything about a person appeals to you. Sometimes overeating and lack of exercise may distort the features of a friend, and thus he may escape your recognition. Sometimes a beautiful woman may fall in love with an ugly man, or a handsome man with a physically unattractive woman, due to the loving friendship of a past incarnation. To be sure that your eyes have not deceived you regarding the physical characteristics of your supposed former friend, ascertain whether you are mentally and spiritually congenial. Delve deeply into a person's mind and guard yourself against being prejudiced by little peculiarities in order to find out whether your tastes and inclinations essentially agree. Seek your friends of past incarnations in order that you may continue your friendship in this life and perfect it into divine friendship. One lifetime is not always sufficient to achieve such perfection. When you behold, assembled all at once beneath the canopy of your perfected universal friendship, souls of the past, present, and future, the busy stars, the whippoorwill, the dumb stones, and the shining sea sands, then the friendship thirst of your heart will be quenched forever. Then God's creation will ring with the emancipating song of all difference dissolving celestial friendship. Then the Divine Friend will rejoice to see you come home after your evolutional wanderings through the pathways of incarnations. Then he and you will merge in the bliss of eternal friendship. Heavenly Father, let those that are our own come unto us, and finding them, may we find friendship with all, and thus find Thee. Expand your love to all. Relatives are those whom we think of as our own. To love our relatives trains us in expanding our consciousness and helps us practice loving all people as our relatives in God. For relatives and strangers are all equally God's children. If you limit your love to your own direct family, you have Christ consciousness to only that limited degree. When you love your neighbors as your wider family, you express more of Christ consciousness. When you feel for all people with the love that you feel for your own loved ones, then you are expressing Christ consciousness more fully. Wherever there is a lonely heart or a weeping brother by the wayside, and your heart goes out to that soul, you have expanded your consciousness toward true, infinite Christ consciousness. My master, Sri Yukteswar, once asked me, "Do you love people?" I answered, "No, I love only God." "That isn't enough," he replied. Later he asked me again, "Do you love people?" This time I smiled blissfully and said, "Don't ask me." He could see that my love now was too broad to be spoken about. This time he only smiled. Selfless love. When you are one with the infinite, you aren't aware of yourself as an ego. You only know that the wave of life could not work and dance without the ocean behind it. If you become too attached to the things of this life, you will forget God. That is why we lose things, not to punish us, but to see if we love littleness more than infinity. In order to develop spiritually, you must first follow the universal spirit of Christ. This doesn't mean that you have to be crucified in order to be like Christ. Still, all useless desires must, in a sense, be crucified. Some people seek the gifts of God, but those who are wise seek God, the giver of all gifts. You may try to please people, but after a while they will forget you. A statue might be erected in your honor, but few will look at it and remember your good deeds. Sociability must be developed, but that doesn't mean that you need to know everyone personally and individually. You must invite the whole world into your heart. Christ consciousness encompasses everything in its love. That consciousness was born in the body of Jesus and in the body of other great masters. Until you have attained that consciousness, never judge anyone. With that consciousness, your judgment will always be kindly and will, in fact, be simply an appraisal. The call of friendship. God lives and breathes in all. We are Americans or have some other nationality for just a few years, but we are God's children forever. The soul cannot be confined within man made boundaries. Its nationality is spirit, its country is omnipresence. First, love your family as you love yourself. The greatest impulse is to love oneself only, but as soon as you can love someone else as much as, or even more than, yourself, you have advanced spiritually. To the extent that you love yourself more than anyone else, to that extent are you enclosed in your own ego. If you wish to develop, you must go through three stages. You must love your family more than yourself, your nation as you love your own family, and the world finally as you love your own nation. By being true to yourself and a true friend to others, you will gain the friendship of God. If you are not friendly toward them, you disregard the divine law of self expansion by which alone your soul can grow into spirit. Anyone who fails to inspire confidence in other hearts, who is unable to extend the kingdom of his love and friendliness into other soul territories, cannot hope to expand his consciousness into cosmic consciousness. True friendship unites souls so completely that they reflect the unity of spirit and its divine qualities. When divine friendship reigns supreme in the temple of your heart, your soul will merge with the vast cosmic soul, leaving far behind the confining bonds which separate it from all of God's animate and inanimate creation. A meditation on expanding love. Tell yourself, my kingdom of love must expand. I have loved my body more than anything else. That is why I am identified with and limited by it. With the love that I have for this body, I will love all those who love me. With the expanded love of those who love me, I will love those who are mine. With the love for myself and the love for my own, I will love those who are strangers. I will use all my love to love those who do not love me, as well as those who love me. I will bathe all souls in my unselfish love. In the sea of my love, my family members, my countrymen, all nations, and all creatures will swim. All creation, all the myriads of tiny living things, will dance on the waves of my love. End of chapter 3.